It's your favorite pup, Momo, at it again. This time, it's going to be a little different. I'm going to cover 8 Halloween arcade games and 1 stinker. That's a total of 9 games. I've noticed that not a lot of Halloween-themed arcade games exist. I know there are more than the 9 listed on this video, and some of these you probably never even heard of. Quite frankly, there are a handful of games in this list even I never heard of. Just keep in mind that there are a few rail light gun games here. I ask you to excuse the horrible gameplay because playing a gun game using a controller is a nightmare, no pun intended. This is a part 1 of a special 2-part Halloween series. So with that said, I hope you enjoy 8 Halloween-themed arcade games and 1 stinker. Without further ado, let's ascertain this matter, shall we? If you're into Japanese spirits and macabre things, Bonsai Adventure may be a game you want to try out. It's a game I've never heard of before. It's a pretty straightforward side-scroller game, but that necessarily isn't a bad thing. You're a Buddhist monk called Bonsai and you traverse many stages of hell to find Amma, the lord of the underworld who has lost his senses, enabling demons, devils and spirits to roam around hell and earth freely. Your main form of attack is using Buddhist prayer beads called mala beads. You throw them in an arching trajectory and ricochets back when it hits the edge of the screen. It's a very challenging game with a one-hit death mechanics. As with a lot of other games, memorization in this game is a must. There is one notable port for the 16-bit generation and that is for the PC Engine. It's a very faithful translation and is currently going for as high as $200 complete to $75 loose. Unless you're a die-hard collector, you should just save your money and emulate this game either on arcade or PC Engine. Sure, you are all familiar with the iconic NES version of this game. I have mentioned in my old videos that there are some arcade games I don't like as much as the inferior home port. This game just happens to be one of those games. It's not to say that Haunted Castle is a bad game by any stretch, but the arcade is a far cry from the original NES game. I have discovered this game way later in life. I didn't even know an arcade version of Castlevania actually existed. This game so fits into the Halloween motif because of its prevalent use of crucifixes, religious symbols, classic movie monsters and chilling music. The graphics and animation is fantastic, but gameplay is lacking a bit. This game never saw a direct port to home consoles, other than the original NES game in which this game is based on. Ghoul Panic was developed by the company that was known for their myriad lineup of shmups. Aiding/Rising, using Namco's Namco System 12 arcade board. It's a light gun game which is comprised of series of mini-games. Sticking to its namesake, you shoot ghouls. This game saw a really good port for the original PlayStation, compatible with Namco's own GunCon light gun peripheral. The most definitive way to play this game would be to emulate this game, or any other arcade light gun games for the PC and get a USB arcade PC compatible light gun. Since they are somewhat a novelty, they have proclivity to be expensive, commanding upwards of $120. It would be nice to rig up a shooting game cabinet with a 60-inch TV that have a really fast refresh rate. I would love to have something like that in my little dog pound. If you have never experienced this game, you should try it. Its demeanor and presentation definitely screams family fun. Cotton 2 is a side-scrolling shooter cute 'em up that has a certain aesthetic charm and cutesiness to it. You control the titular witch, Cotton, or her rival Apple to obtain the stolen blue water willow candy and return it back to the Pumpkin Kingdom. It's rather a straightforward shooter for the most part, but there's a grab mechanics that is addicting when pulled off right. You gain power-ups by grabbing crystals. Certain colors on these crystals will give you different powers and they can be stacked up to 5 times. However, when you take damage, the stacked powers will decrease by 1. I like this mechanics a lot better than one-hit deaths. Examples include games like Gradius, R-Type, or Thunder Force to name a few. There have been a few notable ports, but the one I would like to emphasize on is the Sega Saturn version. Later and more modern port release of this game is Arcade Perfect emulation, but the Sega Saturn version is a really well done port. The highest price I saw for complete Sega Saturn disc of Cotton 2 was $281. Again, if you have a Nintendo Switch or the PlayStation 4, you can purchase them in their respectable online store, or you can just emulate the damn game. It's a great game, but not $300 great. This is definitely a Halloween-themed fighter with an all-star monster cast, including Hammer Film monsters, Frankenstein's monster, a vampire, mummy, and a cat lady. This game was developed using the CP System 2 in-house by Capcom. There have been some noteworthy ports, which includes my absolute favorite Saturn port. This Saturn port is one of few games that utilize the 4 meg RAM cartridge. It's really strange, but I still have the 4 meg RAM cartridge, but I don't know what happened to this game. I remember buying it at a small toys and hobby store. I always stress that emulation is the way to go, but it's still nice knowing that you own an actual physical copy of an awesome game that not many people in the West are aware of. Oh well. Whoever has this copy, I hope that the game will bring them happiness. This game came to me as a very pleasant surprise. Nightmare in the Dark was developed by a small company 11/Gabaking and was released exclusively for the SNK Neo Geo MVS system. This game came out not too long before Playmore acquired SNK. This game would be categorized as an action puzzle game, much akin to a more popular game like Bubble Bobble. Nightmare in the Dark is an immensely entertaining game and with really fluid animation and gorgeous 24-bit graphics. Oddly enough, this game was never ported to any home consoles, not even to SNK's very own AES. This is a fantastic game. If you have a chance to play this game, I highly recommend you give this a go. A cleaver, 4x4, shotgun, and a hockey mask. Top it all off with a grunt, mesomorphic male who is dead set on extracting revenge on a mad, satanic doctor who murdered his girlfriend. Do any of these mean anything to anyone? Splatterhouse is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game where you, Rick, is out to extract revenge on Dr. West who has slain Rick's girlfriend. The premise of this game is rather simple, just destroy shit and try to stay alive. This game gives true definition to the easy-to-learn, difficult-to-master mantra. There hasn't been many legacy console ports for this game, but a really well-done TurboGrafx 16 port is quite faithful and well-received. Over the years, they have released this game on various different compilations, but they made a 3D remake for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, succinctly called Splatterhouse. This new remake looks good and captured the terrifying atmosphere of the original arcade game quite nicely. This would be the de facto Halloween game that should be played in a Halloween day, while the lights are completely off. Before I reveal the best game in this list, if you thought my content was worthy of your entertainment and would like to see future contents like this, please consider subscribing. While you're at it, hit the like and notification bell to be notified of future contents. I post weekly. And now, without further ado, the number 1 spot. Using the then venerable CP system, Ghouls and Ghosts have won numerous awards and accolades. This is the second game released on the CP system, only to be beaten by Forgotten Worlds by half a year. This game is very congruent to this list because of all the imageries of ghouls, zombies, and spirits. The control is tight and precise, with very memorable music tracks. This is a typical trait for Capcom games. You can't give enough superlatives for this game. A lot of younger games wouldn't care much for this game, but for an older pup like myself, this game is nostalgia and a childhood memory not even the most current trendiest games can provide. This game was ported over to so many different formats, but two most notable ones are for the Mega Drive and Supergraphs. Please don't spend a lot of money getting the aforementioned offerings. Just do yourself a favor and emulate this on your PC, tablet, or an Android TV top device. Did I hit the mark? Do you agree with the list? Are there some ghoulish arcade games you know I have missed? Tell me in the comments if I missed anything. Do you have any questions, comments, or just simply have an outburst that need to be cathartically promulgated? Let me know in the comments. This was the part 1 of 2 parts Halloween special videos. The next video will be 11 Halloween-themed console games, which includes 1 stinker that are exclusive to home consoles. Be on the lookout for that video. If you enjoyed this content and thought it was worthy of your subscription, I implore you to consider subscribing. While you're at it, give that like button a nice smash and tick that bell for notification to get notified of future contents. It takes a lot of work producing these videos and your support is greatly appreciated. This is the only way my itty whittle bitty channel can grow. Now, I am going to take my editor for a walk. He's been holding his pee for hours on end, trying to finish this episode. With that said, this is Momo bidding you a fond sayonara. Take care, all of you.